When talking about the greatest female MCs of all time, the same names get brought up. Nicki Minaj, Missy Elliot, Miss Lauryn Hill. Then you get some outside shots like Gangsta Boo and Rapsody. But while these conversations have been going on, a certain artist has been quietly building one of the greatest album runs this turn of the century.
Lil Simz, she might be the illest doing it right now.
Now, I just want to get this out the way. I fucking love Little Simz. As a Brit, she's doing our country proud and doing great things for our music scene, which I'll get further into later. Anyway, Simz was born in North London and started to take inspiration from the New York hip hop scene, whether that be Busta Rhymes, Biggie or Nas, while also feeding off the emergence of the UK grime scene, whether that be a Kano,
don't like me, they try and bad mind me when Kano comes to town. All I say is
or a Dizzy Rascal. Now this fusion will become clear in her later work, and it's actually part of what makes her music so enticing. And this is a battle a lot of upcoming artists in the UK struggle with. They have these influences and sometimes can lean too far into one lane. And with the rise of drill in the UK over the last few years, I can see more young artists struggling to find a path. Well, Simz has just balanced these perfectly, blending the US style of delivery and writing, while often using the energy and flow of a grime artist, and feeding into other genres like jazz, rock, blues and reggae. Now Simz has an extensive catalogue, dating all the way back to 2010, mixtapes, EPs, the lot. And the only way I can describe her early work is raw. It's fucking raw! And I don't mean that in a bad way. You can see the natural talent on display, but it's just like a little rough around the edges.
I ain't even trying, I'm just kicking back. Mind is on the cloud, I'm just so relaxed.
And this started to get a buzz in the UK, as well as starting to make a little noise over in the States. But it wasn't until 2015, with the release of a debut album, A Curious Tale of Trials and Persons, that the potential really started to show. We got a glimpse of the artist Simz was becoming. By this point she'd already been co-signed by Kenny, Cole, A$AP Rocky, three of the biggest voices of a generation. But her debut really started to attract the masses, and it was met with pretty good reviews. Pitchfork, you know, the most reliable music publication, gave it a 7.8. It was a departure from the chaotic mixtapes before it, and instead introduced us to the refined concepts that have become a staple of Simz' work. The instrumentals are a standout, electric guitars and orchestral instrumentation, bridging away from what a lot of British artists in that lane were using at the time. Her writing may not be as complex as what it is today, but it's deeply personal, and this album created a foundation for her to build upon, to develop, and well, she'd do just that. Her next album, Stillness In Wonderland, dropped in December of 2016, and it's a sequel to the narrative of her debut album. Speaking about the record, she said this: "I struggled with finding the inspiration for the album for a while and was frustrated with not releasing as much music as I was used to, but the more I travelled, learned more about the world and myself, the beauty, distractions and trappings of the world of entertainment, the more I found parallels to the tale of Alice in Wonderland, and then everything fell into place concept-wise for me." And that's the gist of the album. It's heavily inspired by the world of Alice in Wonderland, and it just reflects in the music. Gorgeous instrumentals and wondrous arrangements. It feels like stuff straight out of the tale.
In the crossfire, my ex nigga wanna know me looking no fire. No, it shouldn't even be my focus right now. I aspire to inspire way before I'm retired.
It's messy, filled with different concepts and experiments. Now, some said this was to the album's detriment, but for me, just like the tale, the charm is in the chaos. Features range from Chip and Gets to Sid and Chronics. Do I think it's perfect? No. It's an album that relies on the atmosphere it creates rather than any specific through line. But it's definitely worth a listen, and it's just essential to the evolution of Simz' artistry. And she actually added to it in 2017 with a deluxe edition featuring a bunch of new tracks. And in a world full of bloated and unnecessary deluxe albums, this stands out as one of the best around. Then Simz would take 2 years out. It's not like she wasn't doing anything at this time. She'd tour with Gorillaz and sign a deal with AWOL Recordings. Then in 2019, she'd release this fucking album.
Laid back, I'm good, I'm easy. Old school was too damn easy. In my Air Force One, new era.
Now, I can speak about Grey Area for days. It's probably my favourite album to ever come out of the UK hip hop scene. Where do I start? This album is built around that strange place you get into in your early to mid 20s where nothing is black and white and the confusion that comes with that. Simz executes this concept perfectly. Taking away the foundation of sampling, Simz and producer Inflo craft a full album of live instrumentation, and it's just the culmination of everything she had been doing to this point.
I'm Jay-Z on a bad day, Shakespeare on my worst days.
101 FM is literally a UK anthem with one of the best instrumentals I've ever heard. Venom went viral in the last few years and is an excellent display of technical ability. Wounds explores the death of a close friend Harry in a heartbreaking way. Boss feels like it comes straight out of a basement in New York in the 90s. No track sounds the same. I just don't have enough words to describe how impressive this album is. It's like a coming of age for all the potential she showed in the years prior. But it isn't just me who believes this. Pitchfork, Fantano, all your usual outlets gave it amazing scores. And it even went #1 on the UK hip hop charts as well as being nominated for a Mercury Prize. Simz explores trauma, relationships, touring, female empowerment, mental health, gun violence, racial tension, and so much more, all to an incredible level. She isn't just scratching the surface here. Now, all the critical acclaim that came from Grey Area was the catalyst for Simz achieving something that only a few hip hop and grime artists from the UK have done before, and that's getting real success in America, a real audience and real respect. And this would be fully attained on 2021's Sometimes I Might Be Introvert.
I'm amazed by it, lying to myself, pretending I was never fazed by it. Maybe cause you're in my DNA, that's why.
Wait, before we get there, we need to mention Drop 6, an incredible EP that dropped in 2020 that was recorded in a living room during the pandemic. I don't have much to say about it, but it's just a really good show of artistry, all about being confined to four walls. Anyways, back to Simbi. Now, this was the album that really put Simz in the light, going #4 in the UK and charting in America, which is mentioned previously, not many artists from the UK in this scene have done before, and it's almost inconceivable. It was even nominated for a Brit Award and actually won the Mercury Prize for Album of the Year. Simbi is what you get when you combine the fairy tale like concept and instrumentals of Stillness in Wonderland and the deeply personal writing and anger shown on Grey Area. A lot of this is once again down to the incredible Inflo, who crafted this album with only one sample, I believe, with the rest being live instrumentation. It's colourful, it's cinematic, it's rich, it's beautiful, and at times, it's dark.
I see the illness, see my aunt laying in her bed. I see her soul rising as her body gets closer to death.
A lot of this album is Simz struggling to find a place as the artist and as the person, which is a recurring theme throughout her work, but this time it's just different. She clashes with this idea throughout the whole album. God, it even gets overwhelming at times, just like on the track I Love You, I Hate You. Introvert is recognised by a lot of people as the best intro track of this decade. It's just so grand and theatrical, but cuts deep on serious subject matter. Standing Ovation is my personal favourite, an empowering anthem where Simz reflects on her place in the industry.
I think I need a standing ovation. Over 10 years in the game, I'm impatient. God has always told me to be myself. Let go and free yourself. Tell the truth and shame Satan.
And the introspection continues on tracks like How Did You Get Here? Like, I can understand why Americans latched onto this album. It's just incredible, and I'm so glad Little Simz got real worldwide recognition. She never allowed herself to be boxed in, and for that she became one of the few UK hip hop artists to get real critical acclaim over in the States. Simz would then take almost 18 months out while touring alongside other things, then release her latest album No Thank You in December 2022.
The mercenary don't fight the war for free, they fight the war for a currency, not unity, not peace.
Once again produced by Inflo, this album's soundscape is stripped back, quite melancholic. It's quite the opposite of Simbi. This laid-back production gives the light to Simz' lyricism and introspection as she explores themes of self-discovery, self-love and self-worth, as well as her battles with the modern-day music industry.
I don't wanna hear bad news. Look at how far we come at a time when we got the most shit to lose.
To put it bluntly, it is her best writing to date, and one of the best written albums of the decade so far. Honestly, some of the anguish, frustration, betrayal just spills out on the record so well. At times you feel like you're in her shoes.
And these people are not your friends, I finally understand. They wanna divide you and close people in your set.
There's a looseness to the tracks on here. It doesn't have the grandiosity of her previous work, but the freedom of the track list actually works in its favour. And that is Simz' catalogue so far, and No Thank You was just a great addition to what I believe to be one of the greatest album runs of the 21st century. She's doing the UK proud, and it's just always great to see an artist from our scene breaking down the boundaries set of them by the music industry, and there isn't many better examples than Little Simz. Anyways, leave a like if you did enjoy, and if you're interested in another boundary pushing artist, click that video right there. Thank you.